Hi everyone, I'm Cody, W3AMG with Bridgecom Systems, and today we're going to be going over the Brandmeister network and how to use it. So let's pull up our computer here. I'm going to open up a web browser, and we're going to go to brandmeister.network. Now at this point, you will have to already have your call sign and your DMR ID, which I have, W3AMG, and then I have my ID here. And from here, we can either register, so if you're new, you'll click on register and just fill out the information here. Now in this case, I already have an account, so I'm going to log in. We'll just enter my information here, perfect. Log in. Great, so we're in good shape here. Now at this point, you can actually see all the information in Brandmeister. Now the key for setting up a hotspot, if you want to use your account with a hotspot, is actually creating a Brandmeister password, a hotspot security password. Now we would do that if you go to the services and then self-care. There's a tab here for that, and we're going to scroll down and there's a hotspot security password. Now in order to use your digital hotspot with Brandmeister, you'll have to create that security hotspot password and then actually put that in your hotspot. Very simple, just something we have to do. But Brandmeister is awesome. We can go to the dashboard, see a lot of information. Actually in the show notes I have some additional Brandmeister tips. We'll go through a few of these. We recommend keeping like the error security feature off, which is located here in the self-care section. It's a good idea to do that unless you really know what you're doing with it. And then, let's see here. If we go to last heard, we can actually see other people on the network. Who's on there, who's talking, where. So if you want to find out where the activity is, the dashboard and all this Brandmeister information is a great way to look at that and monitor what's going on out there. But let's actually get set up with our hotspot and our Brandmeister account before we dive too much into that. So I have my password, I've got that set up. Now I've got my SkyBridge plugged in here. What I'm going to do now is actually have a look at the SkyBridge, and I can see I've got it plugged into power into Ethernet. So I want to look for this IP address here. So let's see, it's 192.168. So 192.168.1.117. I think it's 117, right? Yep, perfect. Now one of the great things about the SkyBridge is it will actually display that information on the screen. So you can connect, well, I think I typed it in wrong. Let's see. 192.168. Yep, it was 177. One of the great things about it is it will display that information on the screen, so you don't have to go searching for it. I know a lot of hotspots out there. You have to go log into your network, your router. All of them are different, so it's hard to really make a great tutorial for that. And then try to find the IP address, which changes every time, potentially, depending on how your network's set up. So you're always going to be searching for that. Whereas the SkyBridge, it just shows it right on the screen, and you can type it in. Awesome. So once we're at the dashboard, we can click on Configuration, and we're going to have to type in a username and a password. Now in this case, all of the SkyBridges are going to be set up the same way. The username is going to be pi-star, and the password is raspberry. Just like that. And we can log in. And from here, we're going to see all the information. So the SkyBridge can actually not only work with multiple networks, it can work with multiple modes as well. So we can have DMR or D-Star. There's some different, you can cross mode, a lot of options there. We're going to stick with DMR. And here's all of your configuration. So really all we care about is that our call sign's in there, our DMR ID is in there, which is correct, and then the frequency. We want to make sure that frequency is the same as what our radio is. Now if you buy your radio and your SkyBridge, we actually offer a plug-and-play package where we do all the setup for you, take care of all the hard stuff, and you just get it and you're on the air immediately. You don't have to worry about all this, it's all done for you. Now if you bought the Supercode plug and the radio and the SkyBridge, it will also be ready in terms of the frequencies matching up. But in this case, I have a SkyBridge that's not programmed that way, so I'm going to change this to match up with the Super Code plug. Actually, today we're going to use the Ultra Code plug, the brand new code plug that came out, has even more. So we're going to use that, change the frequency, and then some more information there. Some of this is recommended you fill out, but it's not necessarily required, like the locations. And then this should just be left alone. And we're going to change this to a private network. That way no one else in the shop accidentally bothers us. And we can pretty much leave everything else alone here. The DMR master, potentially you would want to change this depending on where you're located. We have a few different options here. The 3103 is located in California, 3102 is in Texas, and 3104 is in Illinois. So just depending on where you're at in the country, excuse me, you can use different ones. We've had generally here in the Midwest good luck with 3102, but depending on where you're at, you'll want to change that. Now, if for some reason everything's working great and one day it stops working for no reason, you didn't change anything, once in a while they'll take these Brandmeister servers down for service, and so you can just go and switch onto a different one. If that ever happens to you, just keep that in mind. Go try a different DMR server. That is for Brandmeister. Awesome. So we're set here. We can also configure Wi-Fi if we want, but we're just going to leave that alone for now since we have it hardwired, and apply changes. So at this point, we've got the SkyBridge set up. We have a Brandmeister account. We have a basic understanding of Brandmeister and kind of how to set it up. Now you may be asking, if you're real new to this, what does Brandmeister even do? Why do I want that? Well, what Brandmeister does is basically allows you to connect to people around the world or in different countries, different states, on these different talk groups. So instead of having just a local repeater that can talk to people in your own town, with Brandmeister, you get people's local repeaters hooked into this network. So now you're able to talk to people across the globe who also are talking to either local repeaters connected to the network or to SkyBridges that are connected to the network. So it really opens up your horizons on who you're going to be able to talk to. So instead of needing, $4,000 worth of HF gear to talk to someone on the other side of the world, now you can do it with just a simple radio and hotspot setup, or talk through a repeater. It kind of opens the door for communication. And, obviously I know a lot of people say, well, what if everything goes down? All the infrastructure. And sure, that's a valid concern. But the thing is, the majority of the time, everything is up and we're just wanting to communicate with people. It's perfect for that. You really can't beat it. Awesome. Let's go here and set up the radio. So we've got our SkyBridge set up. Now, let's plug in our radio. So I'm going to open the programming port and plug the programming cable into the side here. Just like that. We'll turn on the radio. We'll plug that into the computer here. So make sure the radio is plugged in and turned on. And now I'm going to open up the CPS. Now we always want to read from our radio first, so we're going to read from the radio. Although, since we're going to be using the Ultra Code plug, we don't actually have to do that. But if you're going to be creating something yourself, I always would recommend you read from the radio first. But if you're importing another code plug from an RDT file, it won't really make a difference. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you learned something from today's video. If you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell next to it to make sure you don't miss out on any more great content. That's all I have for you today. I'm Cody, W3AMG 73.